I wanted to start a new discussion on famous women in Jewish tradition. Okay, so the first woman I thought we talked about is Beruriah. So Beruriah was Rabbi Meir's wife, or Rabbi Meir was Beruriah's husband. Okay, what?
Talmud had a very tragic life.
Yes. That sums it up, basically. But there's some things in between, too. No, but according to some accounts, she actually ended up taking her life at the end. But according to other accounts, not, actually. There are different accounts connected to that. She had a tough life, Beruriah. So she was Rabbi Meir's wife. She lived in the 2nd century. And she was the daughter of one of the 10 martyrs. And it says that, Rabbi Hanina ben Tradion. And it says that her mother was also killed tragically due to her faith. Her 2 sons died on Shabbat. Her sister was rescued. She was rescued from a brothel by her husband, but she was sold into sex slavery. So she had a tough life. Another piece that probably was tough about her life was that she stood out as an amazing sage in her time. It says in one place, that she learned 300 topics in one day from 300 different teachers. I don't even know maybe that's an exaggeration, but nevertheless, 300 different teachers, that's crazy. But the idea is that she was a big scholar, and she's quoted in sources where they bring this rabbi, they bring that rabbi, and they say, Beruriah said this. So very unique. You don't find that at all. So she had a tough time personally, and also I suppose it's very tough for her in terms of the community, being accepted. Although she did get acceptance and admitted, she got entered into the Tanaitic text, but nevertheless. So you see from her personality in the text that she has a chip on her shoulder. It could be from all these things I talked about. So at one point she comes over, 2 students are learning, and they came up to her. 2 students they came up to her and said, "What path should we take to Lod?" And she goes, "You idiots," said to them. She goes, "Don't you know that you're not supposed to speak with women too much? You should have said which to Lod. Instead of which path to Lod. You spoke too much." Another one where she saw some students studying, and she says, she encountered a student learning in whispers. She said she criticized him and kicked him, and said you should be learning out loud. Why? Because when you're doing it in whispers, you're not going to remember it properly. So she was tough. But there are 2 cases where it talks about a really soft side of her personality, and perhaps it comes from the place of her pain that she went through. One of them is there was these people these guys who are always messing with Rabbi Meir in the neighborhood and bothering him, and so he prayed. What did he pray? He says he prayed that they would cease from the earth, that God would get rid of them. And she goes, "You shouldn't pray for that. You should pray for they should get better, become better people." In the end, he did, and they ended up repenting. So you see her attitude there, where she's able to understand what people are going through. Maybe they had tough times. Maybe they went through stuff in their lives. She understood that. Another case was when her 2 children died on Shabbat. She didn't let Rabbi Meir know the whole Shabbat. And then she said, she prepared everything for. She said, "Where are my sons?" He goes, "They're here, they're there." She didn't let him know. She wanted to be sad during Shabbat. Imagine what she was going through. And then after Shabbat, she brought a parable. She said, "Let's say somebody loaned something to you. Would you be obligated to give it back?" Because of course you have to do that. And she goes, "Well," and she brought him upstairs and showed him the two children that were laying in bed. And she goes, "God gave them to us, and now we have to give them back to Hashem." Imagine the pain she already lost. She lost a father, she lost a mother. All these things happened to her. She's able to nevertheless overcome that and be sensitive and do this in such a smart and sensitive way. Perhaps it was from all the pain she went through. So people usually remember Beruriah for her great knowledge. She was a huge scholar, and there's a school named after her, Beruriah, where they learned Talmud, they learned Torah, they learned deep lessons of Torah. But I think what made her also so special in our tradition is that she was able to use all the stuff she went through and use the gift she was given, her knowledge, and put them together and use her sensitivity to help other people. I think that's a nice message, not just to grow in wisdom, but to use your experiences you went through and your pain even in order to help other people and elevate them.